Hi there, Cosmo family. My name is Liao. We are 2 days away from the last conjunction between Venus and Uranus in Taurus of our lives. I was commenting on Sunday that this is something that we feel along the whole week, especially because when a transpersonal planet is changing its sign, we talk about a great event and of a great impact. And beyond this, this is totally interlaced with the square between the Sun in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius, which is the planet of transformations, the power, and facing with our shadows. And you have to understand that Aquarius, which is the sign that right now Pluto is the area of that Uranus and Saturn are ruling. So I am explaining this so you can understand how all the aspects in the sky are interconnected. This could be felt as the desire Venus of liberation or change in of a certain circumstance, which is Uranus. That has been like that for a while, because this is given in the degree 29 of Taurus. This is an end, and as I was saying, as much as there could be disruptive experiences that are operating as synchronicity to show us what needs to be different, it is important that you can take in account that this could be several events along the week. Many times our problems, technological problems with electricity, at times could be things more related to economical events, relationships, or symptoms in the physical body, more linked with Taurus. Venus is the regent of Taurus, but also, for example, a house. Because, well, a house could be a material resource. This is something very related with Taurus. Or also, the place where we are living is something that we associate with stability. So we could experiment, of course, situations that are destabilizing us with this transit. But what I wanted to transmit today is that this desire of generating a new reality in the material plane could have a key that many times generate a resistance to use. For example, wanting to experiment a different economical situation, but not wanting to share the valuable things that we can contribute to others, or not wanting to make a decision that could actually create a change in that area, or wanting more stable, nourishing, fertile relationships, but resisting letting go of a relationship that isn't working that way, or resisting to approach the process of self-knowledge and the decisions that are going to reflect how we are giving value to our lives and to the energy or attention that we give to other people. Because Taurus is the fixed sign that symbolizes the corporeal phase that the energy acquires in this plane, and this involves respecting the organic processes that the experiences take, even if for us are too slow, because if we don't do so, well, the price could be the suffering because reality is not being what we want yet, or wanting to change something or freeing ourselves very quick from a circumstance, but through a choice that is a deviation and that actually cannot produce the growth that we need. In the end, that isn't going to save us from the path that we really need to embrace. In the end, life always reflects us in one way or another what we need to integrate. Other example could be a person that is creating a project that is evolutionary and fertile, but perhaps it isn't taking the form that the person wants yet. Because there is something that is not assimilated or integrated. Let's remember that the times in the material plane are not entirely related with the matter itself, but in a great extent with the capacity of reception of the person that is co-creating reality. This means that if one is not ready to sustain certain structures of life, economical ones, and in relationships, we could lose them, or they are not coming, or if they come, they don't bring any plenitude because all the fears and inner conflicts are awakening. Energetically, we don't have that development to receive them. It's like wanting to plant a seed, and that the seed tomorrow must become a tree, so we can have the fruits. Without the process, the internal structure, the roots, the development of the cells that are participating of the photosynthesis, so the tree can have the design capable to sustain the branches and the fruits, is enabled. And when I am referring to this energetical development, I am also saying that if the assimilation is not happening, the person many times doesn't believe that actually deserve what he or she wants. This is the reason for what many times we are conforming ourselves with something that is limitant or that isn't making us feel good. Also, it is this other polarity, the contrary one, which is staying in the inertia. This is very linked with the shadow of Taurus, doing always the same, knowing that that is not going to produce any different result because we don't want to go through the initial discomfort of living in a new way. That actually is also not new. I mean, it could be a creative potential that is new for the perception that we were sustaining before, but the Uranian proposal is to show us revelations that are coming from our original being, but we didn't see them or we didn't do them because they were hidden on these shells of conditionings. And yeah, many times this means that we are going through a circumstance that is the lining that breaks the structure in a very abrupt way. So connecting this with the transit of the Sun in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius, that, as I was saying, Pluto in Aquarius is responding to its ruler, Uranus, together with Venus. In order to produce this closure of cycle, this liberation, there is something that needs to be transformed, that is going to be very related with the way that we are bonding with the power, and perhaps with illuminating aspects that were operating in an unconscious way. For example, we could give the power to a person to make us feel chosen, appreciated, and all the power, we could give all the power to that person, and that is showing already an imbalance. So if that person have behaviors that are not good, that are harming us, we could turn them into something that is natural because of the attachment to that, that we want, that person make us valuable. Valuable. I am talking in a weird way today. My English is weird. So also could be like seeking having power over someone else, perhaps with manipulatory attitudes, to force other people to act according our expectations. And manipulations are not always fitting in something that is visibly negative. I mean, a person could give everything, even if it's raining that to them, and if the other person it is not reacting as that person wants, perhaps being very angry to force that person to do what they want, when in first place giving everything, when that is causing us a damage, it is not being born from generosity. It is being born from an emotional attachment and wanting to be needed by someone else. With Plutonian situations also, we are talking about dynamics in which perhaps we have to face circumstances or people that are intimidating us, or experiences that are invoking fears, so we can deal with them being authentical instead of fitting in a character or in a behavior for fear of how other people could react. On the other side could also represent experiences in which we have to regulate ourselves with a lot of inner strength. I am referring that other people could invoke shadows and aspects of us in an intentional or non-intentional way that are making us feel controlled, or that are touching, activating an imbalance that we don't want to expose. And we could react with a lot of resentment regarding this. So it is very important to be honest, to recognize that in oneself beyond the actions of other people. I'm not saying this to justify, these behaviors of people that can say or do things that are hurting us, but to focus in this thing, to take the opportunity to deepen in the reason for what our emotions are emerging with that much intensity, which is a quality of Pluto. And the same, of course, if those emotions are emerging by projection. This means that a person says, a comment without the intention of harming, or does something that produces these unpleasant emotions. And the work in here is the honesty to observe what happens inside with whatever situation actually that removes something uncomfortable, even if we are, dealing with circumstances in the world or other people that are not affecting us directly. And after observing, understanding what we can modify, whether in our perceptions or decisions. And at last, the square with Pluto could also show a circumstance in which we don't have any control, that could make us feel powerless. This is also an aspect of the shadow of Pluto, because we want to experiment, another kind of freedom or a different reality. In some cases, we could be talking about something that is very painful. So transformation in here could be enabled when we allow ourselves to feel our emotions, but also connect at the same time. With the intention to open up to the purpose of those circumstances. I am referring that if we are feeling that they are unfair, and we cannot do anything at the moment to change them. So that is an indicator that there is a higher revelation that is going to emerge from that process. And if we can really practice to let go of control and surrender to those circumstances and focus in what is in our possibilities to do, not only we are going to reconnect with a power that is not the power of the ego, it's a power that emerges from consciousness, but also with the possibility to recreate the experience and taking that into a new level. This means that what is being destroyed later can take a new form that is much more healing, evolutionary, and powerful. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.